let's talk about the idea of anyone trying to sabotage the housing project or sabotage his government. Prof, there's been several concerns about the government of Fubara. When if you look at the issues between him and his predecessor, now the FCT minister. However, to a large extent, millions of persons, if you may, who have followed these stories across board, have been very impressed with the governor, the way he's been trying to pursue peace against all the odds to ensure that things work. But when he speaks of sabotaging his government and said he's going to take it personally if anyone tries to sabotage this project, do you think he may be trying to communicate to the people who may be behind this act?
Well, I think that the warning is necessary, in the sense that it's not it's communicating to everybody, because everybody, the papers or the stories are advised that he has an issue with his predecessor or his godfather, as he has always made everybody to know. But there could be some persons, even when they are relating well, that will want to take advantage of all these stories to not create problems for the governor. So I think that warning was quite apt at this moment.
All right. Okay, that's quite interesting. Now, Dr. Nwanyanwu, the concept of 20,000 housing units as part of developing urban development or rural development, if you may, but at least decongesting the main city. This is the Greater Port Harcourt project was started by the former governor, Rotimi. Now, the governor of Fubara, amongst other projects under Rotimi that was for Rivers people that was abandoned, he is going ahead to ensure that this comes to light. However, the community challenge, which is common, but this time he is saying there are legal processes to get to express your grievance and not to sabotage ongoing project for Rivers people. Do you think if the state did go through the legal process like the governor said, what do you think would be the reason why the community would have decided to endanger the project not being carried along, maybe?
Thanks for that question. Actually, there is what is called compulsory acquisition of land for overriding public interest. If the acquisition is for public interest, the community, in stricter sense, does not have what it takes to stop a project that is being carried out by the governor. And the community itself, if they actually have a grievance, there are better ways to ventilate these grievances other than disrupting a laudable project that the government had put in place. In my view, I think the warning by the government, by the governor, is quite apt. And if the community feels 20,000 housing units that is meant and intended to decongest the other part of Port Harcourt is something that they can sabotage. Well, I don't see a human being or anybody trying to fight government and succeeding at that point.
Now let me throw this open. Anyone can take this. Issue of community attempting to sabotage projects is nothing new, because we know during the time of Governor Nyesom Wike, he goes directly at you and says, "Don't dare me, I'm not going to take that." However, now his prodigy, being the governor now, is also complaining of the same thing. Could it be that the community are not being carried along in some of the jobs being done in the site, in terms of maybe little contracts to distribute some materials, maybe little contracts to water or something, some labor work or something? Because if they are part of the project, why would they want to sabotage it?
I think that once a project is going on, once there is a project and the government has gotten a contractor, a contractor can come from anywhere. But I tell you, there is no kind of project that can be going on in a place without the immediate environs being beneficiaries. Definitely, some of the jobs will definitely be theirs. But unless if they feel they are being shortchanged, people are not going outside then to go and bring in workers, then that could lead to agitation. But one thing I want to point out here is that, you know, we are in a state where before now, the issue of people wanting to make demands, marching ground, and we have so kind of things. And now, by the time the former governor was in power, he made it clear. In fact, there was a legislation to that effect. You don't begin to demand for this, demand for that. There's nothing, marching ground and that. Those were made offenses. So the point is this: when a job has been given to a contractor, it's the contractor that knows, because it's a business, the contractor is a businessman. He intends to make profit. So he knows how to, maximize his own interest by getting the kind of workers he needs and all the rest. But definitely, jobs like gatemen, security and all the rest is for the interest of the contractor, such a contractor, that he acquires them within the immediate environment.
Okay, now that listening to Prof, Dr. Nwanyanwu, listening to Prof to talk about, elucidate some of the issues, there is an existing law in the State Assembly on community influence during some of this project from the past former governor. Now that there seems to still be that community interference that may be leading to an attempt of sabotage for the governor to say that maybe some complaint from the contractor. Yes, you have spoken as the governor, you have a right. You have also talked about the legal grounds for these acquisitions and all of that. But wouldn't it be ideal to also have maybe the Ministry of Social Welfare, Chieftaincy, Urban Renewal, any of those ministries that are involved, to go also to seek to understand whatever may be the reasons why there may be an attempt at sabotaging the project, and find a way to manage it instead of just making a veiled threat, if you may.
The intendment of the veiled threat might not actually be done by the government in order to actually carry it out, to the extent it is intended. But it is so that threat is made so that any body who wants to ensure that the government project is sabotaged might understand that they attempt it, they definitely has the law to face. And of course, if you want to fight government in this circumstance, you have a full hand. Definitely you are not going to come out the way you went in unscattered. So on the other hand, when you are talking about some institutions coming in to mediate between government and youth, I think we have the Ministry of Youth Affairs.
Okay.
And it does not ipso facto mean that they now have to go to the extent of pleading with the youth to ensure that a government project is interfered with, and in trying to see that they come up with a solution, they now have to go and beg the youths to stop the interference.
But would some form of mediation hurt anyone?
Well, no, mediation definitely does not hurt anybody. Mediation, can at least they can have a roundtable discussion and come to an agreement where every party is appeased.